I never imagined that a simple family hike in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado could shatter everything I believed about love, trust, and blood ties. My name is Emily, and this is the story of how I fell, not just off a cliff, but into the depths of betrayal, and how I climbed my way back, learning that forgiveness isn't about forgetting, but about choosing humanity over hate. It started 3 days before the fall, in our cozy ranch-style home on the outskirts of Denver. The morning sun poured through the kitchen windows, casting a warm glow on the wooden counters where I was packing lunches for our weekend getaway. We'd planned a trip to Whisper Ridge, a popular trail in the Rockies known for its stunning views and challenging paths. My husband, Jack, had been distant lately, buried in work as a software engineer for a local tech firm. But this hike was supposed to bring us closer, him, me, his mom Barbara, and his younger sister Sophie. Barbara had driven up from her small town in Wyoming the night before, her old pickup truck loaded with gear. She was always the practical type, the kind of Midwestern mom who'd grown up on a farm and knew how to handle herself in the wild. Emily, did you pack the first aid kit? These mountains don't forgive mistakes, she called from the living room, her voice carrying that familiar twang. I smiled, adding extra granola bars to the backpack. Got it covered, Barbara. And plenty of water. Hydration's key out here. Jack shuffled in, rubbing his eyes, his flannel shirt rumpled from a restless night. He'd been tossing and turning for weeks, muttering about family finances in his sleep. When I asked, he'd brush it off as stress from deadlines. "Mornin', babe," I said, planting a kiss on his stubbled cheek. "Your mom's already plotting our route like it's a military op." He forced a chuckle, but his eyes darted away. From the other room, I heard Barbara and Sophie whispering. Sophie, at 22, had just moved back home after dropping out of community college in Cheyenne. She'd been peppering us with questions lately about our house, our savings, even our wills. I chalked it up to her trying to adult. "I'm glad Sophie's tagging along," I told Jack as I zipped up the bags. "Family time's what we need." He nodded absently, staring out at the snow-capped peaks in the distance. "Emily, if anything feels off this weekend, just stick close to me." "Okay." Before I could probe, Barbara bustled in with Sophie trailing behind. Barbara's face lit up like a 4th of July firework. "This trip's gonna be unforgettable. Whisper Ridge has those panoramic views, perfect for family bonding." Sophie nodded, her ponytail bobbing. "Mom showed me pics online. Looks epic." "Hey, Emily, you ever done cliffside trails before? Heights can mess with folks." Her question hung odd, but I shrugged. "Not much, but I'm game. We're all in this together, right?" Barbara beamed, hugging Sophie. "That's the spirit. Family sticks together, through thick and thin." We piled into Jack's SUV, Barbara navigating despite the GPS. Sophie sat behind me, her gaze prickling my neck. "So, Emily," she said casually as we hit the highway, "Jack mentioned you guys upped your life insurance lately." "Smart move." I glanced back, surprised. "Yeah, just being responsible." "Why?" Jack's knuckles whitened on the wheel. Barbara chimed in smoothly. "You never know, darling. Accidents happen, car wrecks, slips on ice. Better safe than sorry." The comment lingered, but I pushed it aside. At the trailhead parking lot, Barbara snapped photos obsessively, Jack and me posing by the sign, then just us against the pines. "For the memories," she said, checking her camera. As we started up the trail, dust kicking under our boots, Barbara and Sophie led, their heads close in conversation. Snatches drifted back, Inheritance. After this. Secure our future. Jack walked beside me, his hand clammy in mine. You okay? I asked.
He squeezed.
Love you more than anything.
Eminência.
Remember that. His words felt heavy, like a warning. That night at the rented cabin near the base, a rustic A-frame with a stone fireplace, tension simmered. I unpacked while overhearing Barbara and Sophie through the thin walls. He suspects, Sophie whispered. Not yet, Barbara replied. But we can't drag this out. My ear pressed closer. What about Emily? Sophie asked. She's collateral. Always has been. The words stung like a slap. I'd bent over backward to fit into this family, cooking Barbara's favorite pot roast, helping Sophie with her resume. Why the venom? Footsteps approached. I busied myself. Jack entered with mugs of cocoa. Mom's special recipe. I sipped, bitter. Off. Tastes weird. His eyes widened. Don't drink it. He dumped them in the sink. Water rushing. Jack. What's going on? He hesitated. Just.
Trust me.
Don't eat or drink anything from them. The evening dragged. Card games where Barbara separated us. Stories laced with barbs. Sophie grilled me on finances. Joint accounts? House in both names. I deflected, unease growing. Later. Awake in bed. I heard Barbara on the phone. Plans on track. Cliff Trail tomorrow. Make sure the insurance payout's ready. My blood chilled. They brought this on themselves, snooping into my business. Another pause. It'll look like an accident. Tragic fall on a family hike. I confronted Jack in whispers. They're planning to kill us for money? He nodded, regret etching his face. Dads will split everything 3 ways. But Mom embezzled it all. I found out weeks ago. She's desperate. Twisted Sophie against us. We lay vigilant, hearts pounding, as the cabin creaked into silence. The next morning, the hike began innocently, blue skies, pine-scented air. But as we neared the narrow cliff path, dread coiled. Barbara pointed ahead. Best views from here. Sophie glanced back, eyes cold. Then it happened. A shove. Sophie's hands on Jack. Barbara's on me. We tumbled, rocks battering us, screams echoing. We hit bottom, pain exploding. Jack groaned nearby. Above. Barbara, don't look. Sweetie. Better this way. Pretend dead, Jack whispered. I obeyed, heart hammering. Lying there at the base of the cliff, every breath of fire in my ribs. I fought to stay still as Barbara and Sophie's voices floated down like poison. Are they gone? Sophie asked, her tone wavering, not the innocent kid sister I'd known, but something fractured. Trust me, darlin', Barbara replied, calm as a summer lake. This fixes everything. The insurance will set us up, no more scraping by. Sophie's voice cracked. But Jack's my brother. Emily's always been kind. Barbara hushed her. They were going to cut us out. Take it all. We're family, you and me.
Now.
Let's head back and call it in. Their footsteps faded. Barbara humming an old country tune. I cracked an eye, Jack staring. Bloodied but alive.
Ink.
There's more you need to know, he whispered. Dad didn't die of a heart attack, like Mom said. I think she helped it along. Flashback to 2 weeks prior. Jack had been digging through old papers in our attic, prompted by discrepancies in the family trust. His dad, a rancher who'd struck oil on their Wyoming land, left a hefty estate, split equally among Barbara, Jack, and Sophie. But funds were vanishing. Mom's been siphoning it, He'd confided one night over takeout burgers. Gambling debts. Bad investments. She's buried in red. I'd urged him to confront her legally, hire a lawyer, audit the accounts. But Jack hesitated. She's family. Maybe it's a mistake.
Now.
At the cliff's bottom, the truth hit harder than the rocks. She forged docs to make it look like Dad changed the will, Jack said. When I started asking questions, she panicked. Turned Sophie by promising her a cut of the insurance, said we'd sue them into poverty. Pain throbbed in my leg, likely fractured, but fury fueled me. We need proof, Jack nodded, pulling his cracked phone. Been recording calls. Listen. He played a clip, Barbara's voice.
Sharp.
Jack, drop this nonsense about the money. Your dad wanted me taken care of. Jack, the will's clear.
Mom.
This is fraud. Barbara, push me, and you'll regret it. Accidents happen in these parts. Hunting mishaps. Trail slips. Another. Barbara to Sophie. Your brother's greedy. Egged on by that wife of his. They're plotting to leave us high and dry. But if something happened, the policies pay double for accidents. Sophie's hesitant reply. Mom, that's crazy. Barbara, it's survival.
Sweetie.
Think of the life we could have. New start.
No that's.
Jack stopped the audio. Sophie's struggling financially, Whitersing, drowning in student loans. Mom preyed on that. Tears stung my eyes. Sophie wasn't evil. She was manipulated.
Desperate.
Voices returned, Barbara and Sophie descending. Blood trails, Sophie said. Mom. They're not here. Barbara cursed. They survived. Find 'em. Can't have witnesses. We scrambled, hobbling along the canyon floor toward a faint deer trail snaking up. Pain screamed with each step, but adrenaline pushed us. Behind. Footsteps crunched. Call the boys, Barbara ordered. Tell 'em the job's not done. Boys. I gasped to Jack. Hired help, he whispered. Mom's got shady contacts from Dad's oil days, guys who handled problems for cash. We crested the trail as dusk fell, spotting the parking lot through pines. But 2 burly men in camo blocked the path, radios crackling. Target spotted, one said. We hid behind boulders. Jack whispered a plan. I'll draw 'em out. You record. He stood, feigning desperation. Help. We fell. Need a doctor. The men approached, feigning concern. Sir, you okay? As they neared, one radioed. Found 'em. Proceed with cleanup, Jack shouted. Smile. It's streaming live. They froze. Hands on concealed guns. We bolted into the woods, branches whipping our faces. They pursued, but we knew the terrain, veered to a ranger station access road. A Forest Service truck rumbled up. We flagged it. The ranger, a grizzled vet named Hank, eyed our wounds. What incarnation? Attempted murder, Jack panted. Family insurance scam. Hank radioed dispatch. Code 10 to 32. Armed suspects. As sirens wailed, the men emerged. Hank drew his sidearm. Freeze. Paramedics arrived, wrapping our wounds. My ankle sprained, ribs bruised, Jack's arm dislocated, cuts needing stitches. Police swarmed, cuffing Barbara and Sophie as they topped the cliff. Sophie sobbed, spotting us. Jack.
Emily.
Mom said you'd ruin us. Barbara stone-faced. This is a misunderstanding. But Jack's recording sealed it. Detectives played them. Barbara's facade cracked.
Fine, she spat.
The money's mine by rights. Jack was meddling. Sophie broke down in interrogation. I believed her lies. Thought you were stealing our share. Turns out, Barbara had embezzled over $500,000. Forging signatures, federal fraud charges piled on. As we were loaded into ambulances, Sophie begged from her cuffs. I'm sorry. I was scared. Broke. Jack paused. We can talk later.
Soph.
Get help. In the hospital, under fluorescent lights, Jack and I held hands. We survived, I said. But scars ran deep, not just physical. Recovery wasn't just about mending bones. It was piecing together a shattered family mosaic. In the weeks following the incident, Jack and I holed up in a Denver hospital, then a quiet Airbnb in Boulder to dodge the media frenzy. Colorado couple survives family betrayal on deadly hike, screamed the headlines, turning our nightmare into tabloid fodder. Reporters camped outside, but we focused inward. The legal wheels turned slowly but surely, clear as day under U.S.
law.
Barbara faced charges, attempted murder, 2 counts. Insurance fraud, wire fraud for the embezzlement, even conspiracy with her hired thugs. Those boys were ex-cons from a Wyoming oil rig, paid $10,000 each to clean up if needed. The DA built an airtight case. Jack's recordings, trail cam footage showing the push, financial audits revealing the siphoned inheritance. Sophie? Her role was murkier, accessory to attempted murder. But her lawyer argued manipulation.
Duress.
At 22, with no priors and a history of emotional abuse from Barbara, therapist reports confirmed. She qualified for a plea deal. Testify against Mom. Get probation and counseling. Jack wrestled with it nightly. Soph's not innocent. But Mom poisoned her mind. I nodded. My own anger softening. She's young.
Jack.
Desperate people make desperate choices. Maybe redemption's possible. The preliminary hearing was a gut punch. Barbara, in orange jumpsuit, glared from the defense table. Her lawyer spun tales. A tragic accident misses. Reynolds slipped, pulling her husband down, but evidence demolished it. When Sophie's testimony came, she trembled on the stand. Mom told me Jack and Emily were suing us, taking the ranch. Everything, she said, tears streaming. Said the insurance was our only out. I pushed Jack.
God.
I'm so sorry. The courtroom hushed. Jack squeezed my hand. Post-hearing, Sophie requested a visit. In a sterile conference room, she faced us, eyes red.
No muck-up.
I know sorry ain't enough. Mom fed me lies since Dad died. Said you two were outsiders. Greedy. Jack leaned forward. We never were. Soph. Dad's will was fair, split 3 ways. Mom gambled it away. Sophie's head hung. I see that now. Therapy's opening my eyes, codependency, manipulation. I spoke softly. Why us? I thought we were close. She sniffled. Jealousy. Maybe. You had the perfect life, house,
Jobs.
I was failing, buried in debt. Mom promised to reset. We didn't forgive instantly. That'd be naive. But Jack said, get straight.
Soph.
Prove it with actions. She nodded. I will. For Dad's memory. As months passed, we healed physically, physical therapy for my ankle, surgery for Jack's arm. Emotionally, group counseling helped. We learned about family dynamics in the West, where rugged individualism clashes with blood loyalty. Communication's key, our therapist said. Secrets breed monsters. Barbara's trial loomed. She refused pleas, insisting innocence. But cracks showed, letters smuggled to Sophie, urging silence. When exposed, it tanked her defense. Meanwhile, Sophie started rebuilding. Community service at a women's shelter, part-time at a coffee shop, online classes for a GED. She sent updates, awkward at first, then genuine. Read this book on forgiveness, one note said. Helped me see my part. One crisp fall day, we met her at a park in Fort Collins. Leaves crunched underfoot, mountains loomed like silent guardians. Thanks for coming, she said, hugging tentatively. Jack, we're trying. Over coffee. Stories flowed, childhood memories, Dad's barbecues, Mom's slow spiral after his death. I miss the old US, Sophie admitted. Before money twisted everything. I shared. Me too. But we can build new. It wasn't Hallmark perfect, but a start. The inheritance? Partial recovery, $200K from hidden accounts. We donated half to a victims fund. Split the rest with Sophie. Fair's fair, Jack said. As winter neared, Jack and I hiked easy trails, therapy in motion. Lesson learned, he mused. Family ain't just blood, it's choice. And forgiveness? It's freeing yourself. Barbara's conviction came, 25 to life. In her statement, a flicker of regret, I lost sight of what mattered. Too late. But human. With Barbara behind bars at the Colorado Women's Correctional Facility, a strange quiet settled over our lives, like the calm after a prairie storm. Jack and I returned to our Denver home, but it felt different. We repainted walls, planted a garden, symbols of renewal. Work resumed, me as a teacher at a local elementary, him coding from home. But echoes lingered, nightmares of the fall, trust issues with strangers. Sophie's probation kicked in, weekly check-ins, mandatory therapy, 200 hours community service. She moved to Boulder, crashing with a cousin while job hunting. No more shortcuts, she texted. We Skyped monthly, awkward laughs evolving to real talks. Mom's writing me, she confessed once. Apologizing?
Kinda.
Says she was scared of poverty. Jack frowned. Believe her? Sophie, cautiously. Prison's changing her, group sessions, reflection. We advised boundaries. Protect yourself. The civil suit followed, us versus Barbara for emotional distress. Medical bills. Under Colorado law, clear liability. Intentional torts. We won $150,000. But it felt hollow. Money can't fix betrayal, I told Jack. We used it practically. Therapy fund. Home security. Media died down. But locals whispered. At the grocery, a neighbor. Heard your story, inspiring how y'all forgave. Not fully, but steps toward it. We volunteered at a family crisis center, sharing anonymized experiences. Talk early, we'd say.
Secrets Festa.
One weekend, Sophie invited us to Wyoming, Dad's old ranch. Now foreclosed but visitable.
Closure, she said.
Driving north, sagebrush blurring past, Jack gripped the wheel. Ready, I nodded. The ranch stood weathered, barns sagging, fields fallow. Sophie waited by the gate. Thanks for coming. We walked the land, memories flooding. Dad taught me to ride here, Jack said. Sophie, me too. Before Mom changed, over picnic sandwiches, truths emerged. I was angry at you, Jack, for leaving home, succeeding while I floundered. He admitted, I should have checked him more. Assumed Mom had it handled. I added, we all played parts. But blame's a cycle, break it with empathy. As sun set, painting peaks orange, Sophie hugged us. Family 2.0? Jack smiled. Worth a shot. Back home, Barbara requested a visit. Jack hesitated. I encouraged. Hear her out for you. At the prison, she looked smaller, gray roots showing. Didn't expect you, she said through plexiglass. Why'd you do it? Jack asked. Tears welled.
Fear.
After your dad died, debts piled. I hid it, then panicked when you snooped. Twisted Sophie to help. Me? And me? What did I do? She sighed. Jealous. You gave Jack happiness I never had. Stupid. I know.
No excuses.
But vulnerability. I'm getting help, AA in here. Counseling. Jack. Good. But trust's earned. We left lighter, not absolved, but understood. Holidays approached. We hosted Sophie for Thanksgiving. Turkey. Football on TV. American as pie. Laughter flowed. Toasts to new beginnings. To family, chosen and mended, I said. Winter hikes became ritual, snowshoes crunching. Air crisp. Life's trails twist, Jack philosophized. But with love, you navigate. Lesson etched. Humanity triumphs when we choose dialogue over destruction. Forgiveness over feud. A year post-fall, scars faded, physical ones to faint lines, emotional to wiser perspectives. Jack and I celebrated our anniversary with a gentle rocky stroll. No cliffs in sight. We've come far, he said, kissing me under aspens. Indeed. Therapy strengthened our bond, teaching vulnerability. Sophie's transformation shone. GED earned. Enrolled in nursing at community college. Helping others heals me, she shared over coffee. Probation ended early for good behavior. She visited Barbara quarterly. Boundaries firm. Mom's reading self-help. Owning mistakes. Slow progress. The embezzlement case closed. Remaining funds seized. Distributed per dad's will. Sophie used hers for tuition. We invested in a college fund for future kids. Full circle, Jack noted. Barbara's appeal failed. She adapted to prison life, teaching literacy classes. Finding purpose. In letters, remorse grew. I robbed us all of time. If parole comes, I'll make amends. We responded cautiously, encouraging growth. Community embraced us, speaking at schools on family communication, preventing similar tragedies. Listen actively, I'd advise kids. Assumptions kill connections. One teen shared her story of parental manipulation. We connected her to resources. Impact rippled. Summer brought a family reunion of sorts. Sophie suggested a neutral spot, a cabin in the San Juans, far from Whisper Ridge. Safe space, she promised. Jack agreed. I packed with optimism. Arriving, air hummed with possibility. Sophie barbecued. We shared stories sans barbs.
To Dad, we toasted.
Evening by the fire. Vulnerabilities aired. Sophie. I let fear blind me, won't again. Jack. I ignored signs, lesson learned. Me. Outsider no more. We're in this together. As stars wheeled overhead, peace settled. Not perfect, no family is, but human. Resilient. The true ending? Ongoing. We hike together now, easy paths. Open talks. Betrayal taught. Families fragile. But mendable with empathy. Honesty. In America's vast West, where horizons stretch endless, so does hope for redemption. Choose it, and you rise stronger.